In the heart of the Swiss Alps, during the 1940s, a man named George de Mestrel set out on what seemed like an ordinary walk with his dog. The air was crisp, the sun filtered through the trees, and the fields were alive with wildflowers swaying gently in the breeze. As they wandered deeper into the meadow, neither George nor his loyal companion realized that this simple stroll would change the course of history. When they returned home hours later, both man and dog were covered in tiny burrs, those pesky seed pods that cling stubbornly to fabric and fur. Most people would have brushed them off without a second thought, but George wasn't like most people. He was an engineer, a problem solver, and above all, a deeply curious soul. That evening, as twilight settled over the Alps, George sat at his kitchen table with a magnifying glass in hand. Carefully, he picked one of the burrs from his jacket and examined it under the light. What he saw astonished him. Each burr was covered in hundreds of microscopic hooks, perfectly designed to latch onto loops in fabric or strands of hair. It was nature's own fastening system, a marvel of design so elegant and efficient that it left George awestruck. Inspiration struck like lightning. What if, he wondered, we could replicate this mechanism artificially? Could humanity harness the ingenuity of nature to create something revolutionary? Driven by his newfound curiosity, George embarked on a journey that would test every ounce of his determination. For nearly a decade, he worked tirelessly in his workshop, experimenting with materials and techniques to recreate the burr's hook and loop structure. He tried everything: metal, wood, plastic, but nothing worked quite right. Some prototypes broke too easily, others failed to grip securely. Frustration mounted as months turned into years, and progress felt agonizingly slow. And yet George refused to give up. Every failure taught him something new, bringing him closer to his goal. Late nights blurred into early mornings as he tinkered with nylon fibers, shaping them into tiny hooks that mimicked the burr's natural design. Slowly but surely, his vision began to take shape. But when George finally unveiled his invention, a synthetic fastener that could attach and detach repeatedly without wearing out, the world wasn't ready for it. Manufacturers scoffed at the idea, dismissing it as impractical and unnecessary. Buttons and zippers have worked for centuries. Why fix what isn't broken? A fastener inspired by weeds? You've got to be joking. Retailers laughed at the strange material, refusing to stock it. Designers turned up their noses, calling it ugly and unwieldy. Once again, George found himself facing rejection and ridicule. But deep down, he knew he had created something extraordinary. All he needed was one chance to prove it. That chance came in the most unexpected place: the stars. In the 1960s, NASA began searching for innovative solutions to challenges faced by astronauts in space. Zero gravity posed unique problems. Tools floated away. Food packets drifted out of reach, and equipment needed to be secured without cumbersome straps or magnets. When someone suggested trying George's unusual fastener, no one expected much, but Velcro exceeded all expectations. Astronauts quickly embraced Velcro for its simplicity and reliability. They used it to anchor pens, secure helmets, and organize gear inside spacecraft. Images of astronauts surrounded by Velcro-fastened equipment captured the public's imagination. Suddenly, what had once been dismissed as a quirky novelty became a symbol of cutting-edge technology. From there, Velcro's popularity exploded. Shoe designers adopted it for sneakers, making them easier to put on and take off. Clothing manufacturers incorporated it into jackets and uniforms. Hospitals used it to fasten medical devices, while parents loved it for children's clothes because it was simple and safe. Athletes embraced it for sports gear, and even the military found countless applications for it. Today, Velcro is everywhere in our homes, schools, hospitals, and beyond. What started as a humble observation of nature has transformed industries and improved lives worldwide. So what can we learn from George de Mestrel and the story of Velcro? First, that innovation often begins with curiosity. George didn't see burrs as annoyances, he saw them as puzzles waiting to be solved. He looked at the world around him with wonder, asking questions others overlooked, and in doing so, he unlocked a solution hidden in plain sight. Second, persistence pays off. George faced years of setbacks, criticism, and doubt, yet he never stopped believing in his idea. He trusted the process, learned from failures, and kept moving forward even when the path ahead seemed uncertain. Finally, opportunities often come from unexpected places. George never dreamed his invention would end up in space, revolutionizing how astronauts lived and worked. Sometimes success finds us in ways we least anticipate, but only if we're willing to stay open to possibilities. The next time you encounter a challenge or stumble across something unusual, pause and ask yourself, is there a lesson here? A hidden opportunity? Because history has shown us time and again that the seeds of greatness often lie in the most unexpected places. Be curious. Be persistent. Let nature and your imagination guide you toward greatness.